flesh-eating disease ate away Mark Tatum's face. Only his wife's unconditional love helped him survive the horror.
Until you see it, I don't think you can imagine it.
This woman has the longest fingernails in the world, but you won't believe what she's gonna do with them. Greg Gasson made history when he hung from his chute by his ankles. Now he'll attempt to jump out of one plane and into another, or slam into the ground trying. Plus, can these men pull a 10-ton truck using their private parts? And the designer turning bubble wrap into revealing new plastic fashion. Unbelievable? Believe it. On Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Welcome to Ripley's Believe It or Not, a place with a long tradition of documenting stories that you can't imagine and people you won't believe. Here's one for starters. You wake one morning with a bad headache, and it won't go away. You see a doctor, and he tells you that it's just a common fungus, like bread mold that got into your sinus cavity. But now, it's eating your face away from the inside out. This is the true story of Mark Tatum. When we say that what you're about to see is unbelievable, you can believe it.
Since the very day they walked down the aisle, Nancy and Mark Tatum's 10-year marriage has been one filled with love.
I really liked his personality. That's really what drew me to Mark.
Calling this Lakeside, Kentucky cabin home, the couple looked forward to a peaceful life together. But theirs is a story of shattered dreams. And for the first time in this Ripley's exclusive, they tell how, almost overnight, their world became a living nightmare.
Sunday morning he got up and he had a little bit of a headache, but he just thought it was a sinus headache. Monday morning he started to get confused, and I knew, something's up. This is not normal. So I called Dr. Poppins and he said, I think you better take him into the emergency room.
When I saw him in the emergency room, I knew that he was very sick, and we rushed him up to the ICU.
The nature of Mark's ailment was a mystery, but his condition was rapidly deteriorating.
The first few hours after admission, he was indeed blind in his left eye, and then after that, it was a diagnostic dilemma to figure out exactly what was causing it. Whatever this was probably pretty rare.
Tests revealed that a fungus called mucor had taken root in Mark's sinuses, a rare condition that almost always kills.
For simplicity's sakes, mucor is really bread mold.
His doctors told me that it was worse than the flesh-eating virus. That really, it was your worst nightmare of anything that could happen to you.
The only treatment really is to surgically remove it.
But surgery would have radical consequences. Mark would be permanently disfigured if he lived. Mark chose life, but it was a life unlike anything he ever imagined.
And this is where it becomes quite horrifying, really, because the surgery that was done, even the surgeons really didn't know how to approach this. And really the only person that really stuck by Mark and knowing what to do during all this time period was his wife.
The surgery was on Valentine's Day. I kept thinking, I'm going to wake up here in a minute and everything's going to be normal, But it wasn't.
They removed both of his eyes. They removed all of his nose, and basically everything from his eyebrows down to his tongue was removed.
While the terrible reality of what was happening was almost too much to bear, Nancy was determined to stand by her husband.
Everybody gave up on me, except Nancy. She just wouldn't let go of me. It just brought me back. I can't explain it.
Defying all odds, Mark survived the surgery. But there was little doctors could do to prepare anyone for the shock of seeing him without a face.
The nurses would come in, but they were really scared to do anything. They just weren't able to come into the room and take care of the patient the way they were supposed to take care of him, because they just never really seen anything like this before.
until you see it. I don't think you can imagine it. They had me stand at the end of the bed and they put a chair behind me so if I passed out, I wouldn't fall on the floor.
This is Mark today, almost a year and 11 surgeries later. And although this was the face his wife Nancy fell in love with, this is the Mark she loves today.
She's been through heck. She's had it hard too. And you know, I got to sleep through a lot of it, but she's had to walk through it and wait and stay up all night and watch over me. And she's just done a great job.
Though the ordeal has truly been a life-altering experience, Nancy says in the end, the adversity has only made their love stronger.
Even though something so horrific happens to you, life still goes on. You know, there's still a quality of life. Now that when I look at Mark, I don't even notice what has happened to him. I still see Mark.
This is the first time that Mark has ever appeared on camera. He agreed to tell his story hoping to educate the public and motivate others to overcome their problems. Now, this next story is about a woman who gets stared at when she goes out into public because she looks different. But she chooses to be startling. She simply threw away her nail clippers.
When Lee Redmond does her daily chores, she's always very careful not to break a nail. That's because at 2.5 feet in length, this hairdresser has the longest set of fingernails in the world. Lee never set out to be known as having the world's longest nails. It just happened over time. A long time.
I started to grow my nails in 1979, so I decided to grow them because they were just really healthy, and I wanted just to see how far they would go before they started twisting out of shape, and they really never did twist out of shape.
Eventually, the nails and the attention they brought her became part of her new lifestyle.
The first time I went on television, they were 3 3/4 inches, and I thought I had done everything then, and I started setting dates to cut them, and they'd become such a part of me, I couldn't cut them.
Today, Lee's nails have reached the unbelievable length of 30 inches. She's learned to adjust accordingly.
People are always saying, don't they get in your way? And I said, no, they get in everybody else's. I'm so used to them in my way.
While Lee hardly notices her fingernails, almost everyone else does. And she ends up answering a lot of questions.
The most common question probably is, are they real?
The second most common question is how she handles matters of a more personal nature.
And I say very carefully.
I want some sideburns.
But when she cuts hair, she's more worried about breaking skin than busting a nail. It's obvious as soon as she starts on her grandson, the length of her nails does make cutting hair a little more challenging. Just picking up the scissors, for instance, is like threading a needle. Surprisingly, the nails don't scare off new customers.
When people find out that I cut hair, it's men especially, they want me to cut their hair. Yeah, they want to experience it.
Little Scotty, who's learned to stay put during Grandma's haircuts, is doing fine. Despite the fact that she has 10 nails to contend with and a pair of very sharp scissors, Scotty comes through without a scratch and with a new haircut. And when she's not cutting hair, Lee can usually be found working on her nails.
Usually when I go to the beauty supply, you have to buy at least a case of nail polish and a gallon of polish remover.
Did you see her nails?
When Lee treats herself to a manicure, she's usually charged a little extra. But that's okay. Her nails make her feel special. And at 30 inches, her nails are special. They're by far the world's longest. And Lee says she's going to let them keep growing.
Every day I think when I get up, Lee, why don't you just cut them and be normal? But for some reason I have them, and I totally believe that everything is for a purpose.
You see this little scorpion sculpture sent to the Ripley's warehouse? What material do you suppose was used to make it? Yep, that's right. Fingernail clippings. We'll be right back.
still ahead. Locals claim this illegal cheese gives them special powers. Never mind that it's made from live maggots. Plus, the canine couch potato addicted to TV. And Richie Soa really wanted to get away.
I want to break free from this world.
So he built an island out of trash that floats from port to port. It's all ahead on Ripley's. Enter Robert Ripley's archives.
Let's go with the show. Robert Ripley, leave it or not. Leave it or not.
The year is 1964. The space race is on, and America is at the forefront with this unbelievable invention. Originally developed for military troops in the field, the rocket belt also promises to help people get around in everyday life. Once airborne, the rocket belt can speed its passengers along at 60 miles per hour for up to 900 feet. Unfortunately, this technology falls by the wayside in the 1970s when scientists can't get the rocket's flights to last longer than 20 seconds. Believe it or not.
Comedian Steve Martin used to walk out on stage with one of these on his head. Got a laugh every single time. But little Josh Davidson got a real arrow shot through his head, and nobody laughed.
9-year-old Josh Davidson and his family loved archery. That is, until Josh was skewered through the head by an arrow.
My first thought was that my son's dead. That's exactly what I thought. He's dead. There's no way.
Whenever the Davidsons took their son to the archery range, safety was always stressed. But on this day, little Josh was distracted by a bad case of poison ivy. He sat down near the target to scratch his itching feet.
The wife, Dolly, she told Josh to get up, go back here where it's a little safer, instead of sitting right here on the range.
Just as Josh stood up to move out of the way, another archer accidentally released an arrow. Josh walked directly into its path, and with the arrow moving at 200 feet per second, there was no time for Josh to react. His parents looked up in horror to see the arrow had gone straight into their son's head and was sticking out both sides.
Well, being in the military, I've seen some pretty bad things overseas, but I never expect to see a small child hurt the way I seen that day. To this day, it's probably the worst thing I've ever seen.
Unbelievably, Josh was still conscious. He was screaming in intense pain. It took every ounce of the family's courage to keep their son calmly on the ground until the ambulance arrived. The Davidsons rushed their son to a local hospital, only to learn the doctors there were unable to help him. He had to be airlifted to Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis, an agonizing 60 minutes away.
If the arrow had been aimed lower, it would have entered what we call the brainstem, could have rendered him unable to move at all.
The medical staff had to act quickly, but carefully. X-rays showed that the arrow had miraculously missed any vital parts of the brain, but the arrow still needed to be pulled out slowly to avoid any damage or excessive blood and cranial fluid loss. His parents feared the worst.
Well, I was thinking about everything, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got to have a funeral. I've got to arrange a funeral. And I thought, no, I can't think this way. I've got to think positive.
It took an hour and a half to slowly inch the arrow out. The surgeons were concerned that swelling during the healing process would leave the boy paralyzed. Josh floated in and out of consciousness for the next few days.
I prayed to God that if he was going to take Josh, to take me. You know, spare him, let him do the things that needs to be done. Let him have his life.
And while it took nearly a year for Josh to fully recover, incredibly, he pulled through. Now, years later, he remembers just how close he came to dying.
I didn't get to the gates, though. I guess they didn't want me in there.
Unbelievably, the accident has not scared Josh from picking up a bow again. In fact, he even worked summers at the very same archery range where he nearly died.
I didn't want to be afraid of it. They needed help back there, so I went and put in an application. They hired me.
When Josh isn't working, he spends time with his girlfriend and family. This teenage survivor is leading a very normal life.
The little guy's fought death and won. He looks like he's invincible. He's been there. He's come back. He's not afraid of anything.
Josh still holds on to a piece of that arrow as a keepsake from his triumphant battle. But it serves only as a chilling reminder for his father.
I'm not real comfortable holding this. One look at this and in one sentence tell you what it means. We almost lost our kid.
Okay, here's the deal. There are these families who spend all year designing and perfecting a contraption that is only used for one day to hurl big orange vegetables into oblivion for no purpose whatsoever. It's kind of like this. Only bigger.
These people are about to wage an all-out war, turning a peaceful field into a fierce battleground. But they're not using just any weapons. Believe it or not, these high-tech catapults and homemade cannons fire pumpkins. And these adversaries will stop at nothing to claim the title of Pumpkin Chunkin' King.
I want to welcome everybody to the first Millennium World Championship Chunk right here in Millsboro, Delaware.
You heard right, Pumpkin Chunkin'. What began as a simple pumpkin tossing contest 15 years ago has now evolved into a unique science. The objective? To see who can shoot their pumpkin the furthest.
Fire in the hole!
Yeah, I would say I'm obsessed with pumpkin chunking. We have a great time with it. We're too old to trick or treat, so we got to do something. Who wants to see me? This is Chuck Burton.
Chuck Burton is the overgrown kid behind this strange sport. The only contest of its kind in the world, Chuck's watched the event grow to enormous proportions, attracting crowds of up to 30,000 spectators.
Fire in the hole!
Following in Dad's footsteps, Chuck's two sons, Jake and Luke, have become master chunkers themselves. This year, they're using their latest weapon, Young Glory 2, to try and bring home the title.
It's gone! Yeah! It kicked back, too.
While Jake and Luke warm up and wait for their turn, other chunkers fire away for the judges.
It's up. I see it out in the field, dust in the field.
Contestants fire into a 250-acre field where brave volunteers are waiting, using the latest global positioning technology to measure exactly how far the smashing pumpkins travel. Back across the firing range, Jake and Luke let their new master blaster rip.
Ready!
Incredibly, their machine sends their pumpkin soaring over half a mile. But Jake and Luke's decisive lead could be short-lived.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The brothers can only look on in amazement as one competitor steals away first place with a whopping 3,500-foot shot. But bigger isn't always better. Ripley's decided to challenge these squash shooting citizens to some target practice where accuracy, not distance, is the goal. First one to hit the wooden heifer twice wins. Holy cow, the boys get one right out of the gate. Several shots later, plenty of close calls, but no bullseyes. Finally, with stunning precision, Jake and Luke land the winning second shot.
Yeah! I'm really proud of these boys. They did an excellent job.
Overall, not a bad day for Jake and Luke. Second place in pumpkin chunkin', but first place in sharpshooting. So, what's up for next year's chunk?
Next year is unknown. People just get so many ideas, and Just don't know what's going to show up out in the field.
Pumpkin pie in the sky.
Pumpkin chunkers don't do this for the cash. They just do it for the love of the game. Prize money goes to various charities. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Castaways like Robinson Crusoe and even Tom Hanks didn't intend on living on a deserted isle. But this next guy did. And when he couldn't find an island to call his own, he created an unbelievable floating paradise out of these.
This man has given up his job, his family, and all of his material possessions to run away and live on a secluded island paradise. A paradise made from plastic bottles.
It's taken me 2.5 years from the beginning, from the first bottle collection, to get to this point now. And I'm quite happy with the progress.
It was over 2 years ago, Richie Soa gave up his job as a carpenter and moved to Mexico in search of a simpler life. He made his way to the sandy shore of Cancun. He started collecting bottles for cash, and that's when he came up with an unbelievable idea: to build himself an island he could claim as his own.
The collecting of the bottles, I started by hand first, just going around the local town, picking them up.
Have a great day.
Cheers.
See ya.
Thanks.
This floating island is the length of a professional tennis court. Richie gathered thousands of bottles and started stuffing them in fishnets to create the foundation.
Well, this is the sum total of 3 years' work. It took me the first 6 months just to get a base, which was that's about 15 meters across and about 20 meters long. It took me about 4 months to get a base of around 7 or 8 meters, and then I started putting plants on.
Richie placed bamboo and plywood on top of the foundation of bottles, paddling back and forth over and over every day, scooping sand off the shore to build his own private beach. But the biggest challenge was trying to grow plants on the plastic bottle barge.
These are mangroves that were planted just a few months ago, and they're growing really, really well. You can feel how... These are mangroves that were planted like 4 or 5 months ago. They've got stems on them now like trees, palm trees. This will be a lemon tree.
Today, this real-life survivor is totally self-sufficient, growing bananas, coconuts, spinach, almonds, and tomatoes on his island. He's even built a solar cooker, collects rain to water the plants, and even made a washing machine out of a plastic drum that rolls in the waves. This is one island castaway who never needs to leave. But if the truth be told, Richie is not alone on this island.
We have quite a few inhabitants on the island at the moment. It's me, my cat, Bonita, and my second cat, Easy, the little dog, Rainbow, 2 chickens, Brownie and Blackie, and the duck, the heart of the island, Corazon.
This bobbing island of bottles has proven to be quite seaworthy as well, surviving 2 hurricanes and several tropical storms. And now even the Mexican government wants to recognize the private paradise, declaring the island as Mexican soil for tourists to visit. But Richie has another idea for his paradise. Every day he adds bottles to make his island bigger. His goal is to one day float out to sea and eventually drift around the world on the island he built with his own 2 hands.
One day we will sail out on the ocean and become a small floating country.
Tired of parking that SUV or pickup in a compact spot? Well, even a Yugo seems like a 747 when compared to this little carrot on wheels. Believe it or not, this is a completely street legal, up to 60 mile per hour, 3-wheel electric car. It's got air conditioning, an AM/FM radio, CD player, one leather seat, and of course, tilt steering wheel. But the best part is that it plugs into a regular wall socket in your home or garage. Sticker price, 14 grand. The two-seater comes out next year. In the meantime, check this out.
It's revolting, it's alive, and it's about to become dinner. Believe it or not, these people are about to enjoy a rare and forbidden treat. Cheese made with maggots.
È più morbido, ha un sapore squisito.
It's called kazu marzu, and this distasteful delicacy, said to bestow secret powers on those who eat it, is all but legend outside the rugged island of Sardinia.
Beh, veramente non so se in altre regioni lo conoscono.
Years ago, the Sardinian officials passed strict laws to prevent this putrid cheese from being sold.
No, è illegale.
And even though local merchants claim the cheese doesn't exist, just like outlawed moonshine, it can be found if you know who to ask. Ripley's discovered, tucked away in the island's central mountains, a farming family that practices the old ways.
Buongiorno.
And although it qualifies as a health inspector's worst nightmare, maggot cheese is still the featured dish when the clan comes together for the annual harvest feast. The cheese, which is quietly made 3 months in advance, starts out as traditional sheep's milk variety. But during the aging process, flies are encouraged to lay their eggs in holes cut in the blocks. Then, after thousands of young worms begin feeding off the cheese, a strange chemical reaction occurs. Passing through the maggot's body, the cheese is somehow purified. Though the cheese is entirely safe to eat, it does take on a distinctive maggot flavoring. This restricted practice started centuries ago as a way to save cheese that had spoiled. Now, it's a taboo treat. Once the main course of the feast is finished, the kazu marzu is prepared. The cheese is cut into pieces and presented to the eager guests. Those who've tasted the cheese describe a pungent, overpowering flavor that definitely takes some getting used to. Besides the unique taste, the real reason so many desire this forbidden food is that it's considered a very potent aphrodisiac. And those in the know swear by its power.
Fa bene di più e poi fa anche addrizzare di più.
This year's feast comes to an end. With full bellies and a feeling of satisfaction, the clan realizes they'll have to wait another year before they can secretly enjoy their outlawed maggot cheese again.
Next, these men are about to test their strength by pulling a truck full of people with their private parts. Plus, unwrap this package and you're sure to find something sexy. The designer turning bubble wrap into waterproof swimwear.
It's definitely sexy.
And how does this man plan to stop his 150-mile-an-hour plunge to Earth? He'll try to catch a plane in midair. It's all ahead on Ripley's. The ancient Chinese martial art of Qigong uses breathing and meditation to improve health and extend longevity. And no one understands this better than these three Taiwanese men, practitioners of Qigong. They have been trained to pull a 10-ton truck using only their private parts. They believe that strengthening the reproductive organs brings them closer to physical and spiritual well-being. In fact, this 71-year-old man has been practicing Qigong for years. Amazingly, These men are able to pull the truck loaded with 50 people for almost 30 feet. Believe it or not.
There are some women who can wear almost anything and still look incredibly sexy. Even bubble wrap. Just can't help but pop this stuff, you know?
Bubble wrap, inexpensive and filled with air. Besides being fun to pop, this plastic creation is commonly used to keep fragile items safe while moving them from place to place. But now, the popping plastic has found a whole new purpose. Bubble wrap fashion. From pants and skirts to coats and bikinis, everyday bubble wrap is now bubble body wear. And its creator, Beverly Randolph, says the possibilities are endless.
Bubble bodywear fits anything from proms to graduations to your birthday.
The inspiration for bubble wear came while Beverly was working a former job.
One of my coworkers had worn a bra to work that the filling had bunched up in it and created an illusion of bubbles. And I just went bam like that. It's a bubble bra.
Now, 2 years later, Beverly's idea is a huge success. She's quit her day job and transformed her Indianapolis home into the Bubble Bodywear headquarters. The biggest challenge for Beverly was keeping the flimsy material from falling apart. So she's designed a special seaming process she's keeping to herself.
My techniques for sewing bubble bodywear are basically a trade secret.
And it's hard to be serious when you're covered in bubble wrap. Even these fashion models who've seen it all before can't help but get caught up in the fun.
It's exciting just to see all of us wearing all these sexy little clothes. It's definitely sexy. It's good for the holidays, I guess. You could take that to ship yourself to your loved ones.
And Beverly has created bubbleware for any occasion at just about any price. Poolside, check out these eye-popping bikinis for just $16. And should a bride desire a truly unforgettable walk down the aisle, there's even a bubble wedding dress that will set you back $500. It's a look that never fails to get you noticed.
I'd wear it into a five-star restaurant. You see what happens?
What they do.
Hey, what's up? Pop, baby.
And bubble bodywear never needs washing, because at the end of the night, you simply throw it away.
It's really a one-time experience for your evening out or whatever you're doing with it, because there's really no bubbles left by the time it's done. Somebody else has popped them for you if you haven't popped them yourself. So it's made for that one special night.
Next, Greg Gasson will dive out of a plane at 10,000 feet. Then he'll only have seconds to save himself. Can he fly from plane to plane without being sliced by the propeller?
Getting hit by that, you know, lose a hand or a foot or even your head.
The outrageous jump that'll have you jumping out of your skin. Next. Stories you can't imagine. People you won't believe. Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Skydiving out of an airplane, hurtling through the air is extremely dangerous, but that's why parachutes were invented. Now, regular skydiving started to get boring for this next guy, so now he just jumps without a chute.
Most people wouldn't peg this mild-mannered dog lover as one of the world's most extreme athletes. But believe it or not, 34-year-old software engineer Greg Gasson is about to put his life on the line, attempting to jump out of one plane and land in another without getting chopped to bits by the propeller. As a child, Greg would accompany his father to military air shows and was captured by the spectacles in the sky. When he turned 18, Greg worked up the nerve to take skydiving lessons. He was instantly hooked.
It's just an incredible feeling. The thing that attracts me most about skydiving is in every area of my life, at some point or another, I'm thinking about skydiving. But when I'm skydiving, I'm not thinking about anything else.
In the 17 years since, Greg has captured 2 World Freestyle Skydiving Championships and become one of the sport's most enthusiastic innovators. While most people drive to the drop zone on the road, Greg and his death-defying friends drive there out of the back of a freight plane.
That was probably the most surreal skydive I've ever made. We're in a car, but we're 13,000 feet up. I just remember it just being very quiet in the car and like looking over, you know, I wanted to say something, but I just didn't have anything to say. I was literally just speechless.
As unbelievable as it may sound, Greg has even made several perilous jumps in which he only holds on to his parachute by one hand.
When people are first watching it, they're, okay, he's crazy, you know, he's skydiving without his parachute.
So what could be more daring? How about hanging on for dear life by your ankles? But when approached for the Ripley's challenge, Greg wanted to try an even more outrageous dive, jumping from plane to plane. Here's how it works. Greg will climb aboard one plane. Once both craft reach 10,000 feet, the other plane shuts down its engine and goes into a 120-mile-an-hour free fall, using a small chute to slow the descent. Greg must now jump out of his plane and try to climb into the other one. But if the pilot restarts the engine before Greg's inside, he'll be shredded instantly.
Well, how many people in the world, you know, can say, hey, you know, I've jumped out of one plane, flew over to another and landed in it?
Even if everything goes well, Greg will only have 20 seconds to board the other plane. But just to catch it, he'll have to dive at an astonishing 150 miles an hour.
So I want to approach it from the rear. Ideally, if I can, I'd like to have one hand grip here, one here, and put a foot right there.
But during a test run, a potentially deadly problem arises. Although the plane's engine is shut off, the propeller continues to spin during free fall. Even the slightest contact with the blades could prove fatal.
Getting hit by that, you know, lose a hand or a foot or, you know, even your head.
Back on the ground, Greg and his crew improvise a solution.
So we've mounted this tube on the side of the engine, and down inside we have a wood dowel. So I stop the engine in level flight, the prop stops. I reach up and I shove the wooden dowel up into the prop and it comes up into here and stops it. Now on the restart, I gotta remember to reach down and pull that dowel out and then go to restart.
Not sure if their quick fix will work, these aerial acrobats get back in the air. After reaching the proper altitude and positioning the planes, Greg prepares to take the plunge. He knows that this is his last chance to back out. In a bold leap, Greg jumps from his plane, but instantly encounters trouble. He overshoots the target. But his mastery of the sport allows him to brake in midair. Greg spreads his body, causing wind resistance, which will slow him down, right underneath the plane's nose.
You know, he's leaned over his cockpit and he's looking out at me and he's waving, come on, come on. There was definitely that moment of clarity when I see the plane and Chuck, they're just falling straight down, and I just knew right then, okay, this is it, it's gonna happen.
I look at him, I'm like, okay, he's here. I look at the altimeter and we're at 5,000 feet and we're supposed to break off at 4. We only got 5 seconds. And finally I just grabbed his chest strap and pull him in. So he'd gone below our break off. He was in there halfway in, I wasn't gonna throw him out.
Only moments from disaster, the pair level out, only to realize that now the engine won't restart. Frustration turns to fear among the crew as the engine refuses to turn over. The pilot manages to keep his cool and masterfully glides the plane to a safe landing. Despite dangerous crosswinds, Greg and his support team survive what could have easily become their last flight.
Oh, it's fantastic. So fun. Let's go up and do it again.
And that's enough to keep Greg flying high, even when his 2 feet are firmly planted on the ground.
Oh, it feels absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is something I've wanted to do all my life, and I just got a chance to do it.
Next, the chicken that lost its head but didn't end up dead? What kept this decapitated bird clucking? The answers lie buried deep inside the Ripley vault. Next. You're watching Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Running around like a chicken with its head cut off is a common phrase. Well, this is a headless chicken. And what's uncommon is that it ran around for 2 weeks. But that's nothing compared to the life of Mike the chicken. When the bird hit the chopping block, its brainstem remained and it lived for over 4 years. Its owner would feed it daily with a funnel and syringe. Miracle Mike even made it into Life magazine, and his hometown of Fruita, Colorado now holds an annual festival in honor of the decapitated bird. Festivities include an egg toss, chicken bingo, and of course, fried chicken for dinner. After years in the spotlight, the world's most famous headless chicken finally met its demise by choking on a corn kernel. Unbelievable? Believe it.
It's Valentine's Day, and this is what she wants. Love you.
I love you.
But this is what he wants. Chiller's got you both covered with his and hers entertainment.
Great.
A full day of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and a full night of couples Fear Factor. When Love Dies Marathon. Valentine's Day starting at 6 a.m. only on Chiller. Scary good.
I love you so much.
Everywhere! I can't stop them! Save yourself!
What is that? Zombie virus. It's a virus that's transmitted through human contact.
What are you doing? Don't open the door!
Do you know anything? Zombies can't talk.
I can't believe I'm gonna die in virgin.
Based on the real live-action game that took college campuses by storm.
Live, here comes round 2.
Humans vs. Zombies. Premieres Friday at 10. Only on Chiller. Scary good.